The topic of this presentation is the multifaceted aspect of responsible research conduct. For simplicity, I will use RCR as an abbreviation for responsible conduct of research in the entire presentation. These are the outlines in which we will try to understand this topic. So let's start with the introduction. The Office of Research Integrity under the US National Science Foundation has given a good definition of RCR, which says RCR involves the responsibility of generating and disseminating knowledge with rigor and integrity. It also includes the responsibility to conduct highly ethical peer review, protect proprietary information and intellectual property, and also ensure equality and respect for students and colleagues. I also found these illustrations which help us to understand the various problems that come in the path of research and the multifaceted approach which is required to perform it effectively. Some prominent ones include communication and dissemination, professional conduct, engagement and impact, etc. Moving ahead, to justify the importance of RCR, I have mentioned an impeccable compilation prepared by the American Chemical Society. Now, despite being focused on chemistry, this example explains the need for RCR in every sector very well. It makes it clear that apart from the person himself, his research is responsible to multiple beneficiaries, and failing to address them properly will dampen the impact and utility of the research findings. So, it would be apt to say that research integrity rests on core principles such as honesty, which ensures truthfulness in communication, accuracy, which is crucial for precise reporting, efficiency, which involves using resources wisely, and objectivity, which means letting facts speak for themselves without bias. Now, it is important to understand that RCR is not a one-time job. It needs to be done in every state of the research. In each stage, understanding the ethical compliance and the probable community impact is very crucial. For example, if in my dissertation I want to perform a survey, then in the early stage of the research, I will need to understand the basic research ethics and data privacy. And to understand the impact, I will need to engage in academic events of ethics. Also, I will need to reach out to professors who can guide me on it. Similarly, similar approaches is needed for all the other stages. To dive deeper into this, it's important to understand the key areas of focus. RCR is to be performed by both the researcher and the organization. In our case, it will be the student and the university. Be it general research practice, collaboration, health and safety, or data management, all the areas mentioned in the table hold significance in RCR and should not be taken for granted. Now, considering the broad scope of RCR with implementation in multiple stages, it is evident that there are major challenges on the way. The prominent one of them include dynamic approach. Every research is different and requires a dedicated path to follow. This calls for a lot of confusion for the researcher in selecting the best approach for his research. Apart from this, we know that research is a piecemeal approach which is not a one-man job. For example, if I have to do lab work, then I will need the help of a technician. I cannot perform the standard tests without having expertise in it. Hence, the lack of proper communication between the researcher, supervisor, technician, and other members of the organization can sabotage the whole research project. One such poor outcome that is a nightmare for every researcher and organization is research misconduct. The Office of Science and Technology Policy has defined it as fabrication, falsification, or plagiarism in performing, or reviewing research or reporting results. The explanation of these terms are self-explanatory, but it is important to understand their intensity. It is very easy to underestimate their impact on every stage of the research, which makes it crucial to prevent them from happening at every stage of research. Different academic sources like UKRIO, Research Development Framework, and APA guidelines, etc., have given the preventive measures and resolutions which should be referred to as many times as required by the student or researchers during their research. Now, coming to how RCR should be performed, I would recommend having a checklist like this, which was shared in one of the sessions of the skills class module by Mrs. Ab Devi, who was the secretary of the University Research Ethics Committee during my course duration. It consists of a set of questions bifurcated in different stages of research, which could be very effective in keeping track of RCR in the entire duration of research work. It's a handy tool and every student should try using one like this. So, to conclude, I would say that it is every researcher's and organization's responsibility to ensure RCR in their work so that they can ensure ethical integrity, transparency, respectful engagement, and scientific advancement in their work. Every research should be done to solve problems, improving their efficiency of existing systems, and finding new solutions. Failing to perform responsible conduct of research will lead to low value outcomes that won't benefit anybody. Thank you very much for listening. And here are the resources for RCR that I used, and I would recommend checking them out. And also, these are the references for the same.